Hello, everyone. Corey here, coming in to do the energy update. This one is for the week of December it's supposed to be the 9th when I started, the 10th. I didn't get recorded yesterday, and it is late in the evening on the 10th, and I'm finally feeling as if I am getting the message. There's a lot of junk mail, and there's a lot of junk stuff out there. So I wanted to really truly be sure that I was getting the true message and what that true message was, because there's so much junk. And we, of course, we have retrograde. Excuse me. We have retrogrades happening. And so we have a Mercury retrograde, we have Mars in retrograde, hasn't been there in like 2 years. And so it's so easy to get caught up in the energies or the readings of others, and the stories that are flashing by and flickering by, and that of Pluto and Aquarius, and of course the time that we're in, and all of the political things. And it's just so much noise, and the world is so filled with noise. And so being aware that our brain, that my mind does, of course, it absorbs information, is also in then letting go. So I always ask, move my ego aside, move all of me aside. And it's not about it's not about the message that pulls in the most followers. It's not about the message that has the biggest wow factor. It's about the divine expression and what it is that I'm here to bring forward, and what my purpose is in this whole big arena of spiritual guides, teachers, channels, mystics, mediums, all of those things that are all just like little tick, tick, tick. I do this, I do that, tick, 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 right? It's these little boxes. But for the most part I always say I'm here to be of service to the divine, and whatever that may be. And that's not about the popularity contest. That's about knowing that I'm here to be able to read through the energy, but for the highest good, from the highest expression, and not to ever have any intention behind it that ever serves the ego's desires, but to also know that the divine also didn't put me here to suffer and struggle. It didn't put me here to have to live, not to take up space and not to be seen. And a huge part of our whole purpose here on this earth is to know that we are not here to play small in our lives, in our own call, and whatever that looks like. And so if we could be larger in life in our favorite place in our lives, where would that larger in life be? Where would that be for you? And so this week, and with this energy, it does bring in the possibility to use a little bit of the magical energy. That which made us feel small has the opportunity to also be the thing that makes us, that takes us to the place to feel big, to feel important, to feel the value, to feel appreciated, and not by the patting on the head like a little puppy dog waiting for that validation, but by something that is calling us to rise in our own higher self, to be at a place of where we are standing on our own Mount Everest, where we can really truly feel that we have a level of importance and value, and that our place is that we're here to take up our place, and you're here to take up your place in this world. We are all here to take up space and to take our place in this world. And whatever that looks like for you, whatever that looks like for me, however that is, we are here to be that, and not to rush out. Don't rush out, and don't get caught in the temptations and the impulsiveness of this season and this time of the year, but to be able to take the deeper breath, to be able to breathe a little deeper, and to be able to breathe in a little bit deeper is the place of where we find our hidden treasure, where we find that part of ourselves, that expression that is waiting to be received by you, through you, for you. And so this message and where this comes from really comes from a place of, today I had to really sit, and I had to do some deep contemplation later in my day. And a part of that deep contemplation was recognizing that I don't have much more, I don't have much more space in my calendar to take on any more this month. That I have important things that are very important projects that are very important to my heart that need time and space, and they should be able to move into the space of priority. And why should they move into the space of priority? It's because they are important to me and I need to be important to me. And that is a whole aspect of me sharing that story with you, is about you thinking about that in your life. Is that how many more things can you squeeze onto the schedule? How many more things can you keep trying to do to get that pat on the head, or to feel important, or to feel like you need to do more? But how much of that is you really truly going against the call of the body, the sense of tired, exhausted, wore out, whatever that may be for you? And, do you have much more space? And are you taking up space in this month and in this time? Are you taking your place? Are you taking your place in the story of your life? And where are you existing? Where are you existing? And so I wrote a book. Imagine that. I wrote a lot. I wrote a book last year when I was recovering, not last year, it is this year. I started it in April, and it was while I was recovering from my back surgery. And it's not out, of course. It's still in a dollar store journals. But it's not a big book. It is about the steps of living your best self. And I wrote book number 7. I think it's book number 7. But there was something at the end, and I have repeated this over the past 2 days to several of my friends that I've been speaking to, that we have coffee dates or that we just chat on a regular basis. And then I also repeated this to a cousin, and for some reason I just heard repeated here as well. So I'm not going to give the whole reading, but it is in the very last chapter of the book. And we're in the last month. So we are in the 12th month. We're in the last chapter of 2024. This is where we are. We are right here, and we're at a pivotal time that at the ending is always where the hero should be coming to life, right? It's where we meet the hero story. And so this is an opportunity to meet and to use this time, this energy, to be the hero of your own story for yourself and for what is important, and by bringing yourself in as a sense of priority. Now, I am going to find this little spot for us. I'm just going to pause for it. And so this is what I have. And so this is very channeled through. It was written around about priorities. And so here was what I had written, the question I had written. What is priority? What is priority to my ability to move forward? What is priority to my ability to move forward? And my answer was that I matter, that my well-being matters, that I am a priority, not a list of things to do, but my wellness, my sense of self. The connection to self matters. What makes the self feel fulfilled? That which goes against focusing on being of service does not mean that no one else matters. It means that we, as a self, must also be a priority and be on those to-do lists. And if you are the bottom of that to-do list, is that you have put all of your focus in all of the wrong area, but yet probably walking that righteousness story of pride of, oh, but everybody needs me and everything matters and everything is important, and oh my God, what will ever happen without me? And my mother used to say this to me: put your hand in a bucket of water and take it out. Is there a hole? No. There's no whole. And that is us. We create a lot of narratives and a lot of stories about the sense of unwarranted things that become a priority and where we put focus. And it's so easy to say, I am not a person, I can't stay focused, but yet get hyper fixated, obsessed, OCD about certain areas that become those fixations and those old patterns, those narratives that we tell ourselves so that we can be the hero, or we can be the savior, or we can be the whatever in somebody else's story, in somebody else's life, and leaving that legacy. But when you are worn down, when you are tired, when you're exhausted, when you've just given birth and you're holding a new child and instantly you're jumping up and you're thinking about how you can be of service to someone else, because it's that program condition that I have to get back because people will need me. The first person on that list of priorities should be that self. And so moving forward is what is priority? What is priority to my ability to move forward? Because we are not, we're physically moving forward, but we're not moving forward in our habits, in our ways that we show up, if we keep recycling and repeating that same pattern that keeps us stuck, that keeps us being of service to the shadows, to feed our hungry ghosts, to feed that so-called need or desire. And most times, if we were to look at it in the correct way, is that this is motivated by shame. And when the divine started to send me I was sent on a journey to search out this book. And I could have sworn that I had written this book in a black, swore it was a black journal. And I couldn't, and I was about to quit. And then I just heard, don't quit, keep going. You're going to find it. You're going to find it. And so this book is one of those books that maybe wasn't supposed to come out a long time ago, but it's going to find its way out faster than I think. And I don't know how, I don't know what that story is yet. And so the key is being able to look back at the end of this chapter of this year and being able to finally say to yourself, well done, well done, well done. Look what you have done. Look where you have placed yourself. So that priority of mattering, that priority of your well-being, without your wellness, without your health, you have nothing. A mama lion will feed herself first before she feeds her baby. That is instinctual. That is a primal instinct. Why? Because the babies can't survive without the mother. So the nurturing is not just about shoveling some food in. It is about doing so much more. And so it's not just about, in these times, of what we can do and who we can be for everyone else. Who can I be for me? How can I look in that reflection and be able to say, well done, well done. You finally learned how to say no. Well done. You finally learned how to stand up for yourself. Well done. You finally learned how to communicate that truth, that narrative, that story, that which you needed to say. Well done. You finally learned to say, that can wait. That can go down a few notches in the priorities, because I'm coming up here to the top of the list of priorities. I'm going to be important. I'm going to matter. And so we have this, and this is where we have this opposition with ourselves. And wherever we have those oppositions in your natal chart, wherever you have those oppositions, those are the places of where you don't really trust in you. It's where you don't really have that strong relationship, and being able to look into that place and look into yourself and discover for yourself that if I can't trust me, who do I trust? If I can't rely on me, who do I rely on? But everyone else, I can convince everyone else that they can rely on me, but I can't rely on me. And where is it that I belong? And we can still be of service. We can still care. We can still get things done. We can learn to multitask. We can learn to ask. We can learn to do a lot of things in life, but you got to be able to take up space. And if you can't take up space in your life, no one else is going to have you, is going to be there to push you in to take up space. And that message has come from somewhere deep. I'm almost nervous. Like it feels like this nervousness that I have that is like pushing something up and out and through me. That is, just saying it's, when do you make yourself space? And so when I wrote this book, I had already pushed myself back into work a little bit. I was a little bit scared, but I did take some time to really, truly recover. But what I realized and where this came from in writing this book, and I wrote it as if I was already there. I'm already living that life, and I am. And when you start to already live it in your mind, it's a part of the teaching of more than existing. You blueprint it, you build it before you build. And when you believe it before it's actually here, then you're ready and you want to really achieve that. You want to really go towards that. So you stop just kicking your feet in the dirt and you start to climb that ladder, start to rise back up, and you rise up in your thoughts, you rise up in your sense of worth and your sense of value, and you begin to see something. You begin to become a part of something. So in writing that book was the recovery from breaking my back. It was from the years and years and years of shaming myself into feeling like I needed to, because I was motivated by shame. Now, where does that come from? Now, this is just my story. This is just the pieces they're telling me to use. And I'm feeling very vulnerable. It's not that I don't share this, because all of my teachings, all of my work, all of my books, they're not your how-to books. They're shared experience to tell you you're not alone. Man, you are not alone. I didn't perfect it. I didn't get it all figured out. I just learned that I didn't want to miss being present in my experiences. I didn't want to be escaping the moment. I didn't want to be too tired to enjoy it. I didn't want to be exhausted. I didn't want to be pretending. I didn't want to be wearing masks all the time. I didn't want that no more. And what I wanted was to be able to be alive in my own life. And so I don't know it all. We don't know it all. We don't know what's right for someone else. But when you start to know what is right for you, because you've heard through somebody else's stories that then begin to sound like yours, you're like, that sounds familiar. And so sometimes those books are hard to get through. Wine and Chips is not an easy book. It's a hard book to get through. Why? Because it's about disassociation. It's about the mask. It's about the persona. It's about those versions of ourselves. And when we can finally say a hell yes, yes, I'm saying yes to me, which means I'm saying no to everything else. So we have to be the superwoman, the super mom, the super everything. We don't have to be supersonic. We can be honest and authentic and true and real to what's really happening in your life. And so the divine expression is asking us to be as honest with ourselves as the honesty they see, that our guides or angels, that God sees when nobody else is looking. Because the exhaustion in your body, the hurt in your heart, all of those things are screaming and telling truths that sometimes it's very hard to listen to. And so all of these things that become that push and pull gives us an opportunity to let go of the rope, to let go of the control, to let go of the string, to let go. And what is the saying? Let go and let God. Right? Let go and let God, and let ourselves be moved by life. Let things move us, and let ourselves be moved by the experience, and let ourselves really truly stop feeling like we have to create something to create this spectacular moment, this spectacular feeling, this spectacular event. And it's just simply to just be in the moment of enjoying that time, or a specific time. My phone is in silent and it's still dinging. But we're here to really truly be that. So we're at the last chapter. We're at the last chapter in the book of 2024. And those last chapters, isn't that where that moment comes in that goes, yeah, like, isn't that where we finally get to see the hero, the heroine of the story begin to rise? And in the archetypal energy, that hero, the heroine story is it's so easy to stop and show up people that want to see, let me see your trophy, let me see this, let me see that. Oh, come celebrate with me, come do this with me, come do that. But in the meantime, our goal, our desire, our push is to be able to get to that sense of feeling accomplished, feeling like we have lived on purpose. And that living on purpose sometimes is to be able to sit back and take that deep breath and to be able to be in our space and to be able to celebrate that self, celebrate those wins and what we've overcome and those challenges and those obstacles and those places of where you learn to say yes for the right reasons and no for the right reasons. And where you learn to really truly set yourself free of feeling as if we had something left to prove. And so bringing you back all the way back to that question of where I just closed the page on priority, priority, priority. That was what it was, wasn't it? It was, what is priority? What is priority to my ability to move forward? So what do I need the most? For me to move into 2025, for me to move into the next coming year, for us to move into this new time, this new era. So we're taking the focus off everything that is over here and chaotic and messy and bringing it back into self and back into the simplicity and back into community and back into the small, because in the small is the big. It is the small things that matter, and the small things that you do for self, the small things, the things that feel so insignificant are the things that actually bring the most value. It is where we find our magic again. And when we find our magic, we find something that becomes our inspiration. And that inspiration to begin the new book, to begin the new journey, to begin to walk that new phase again, that new place, to be able to know that there's a whole frontier of a life waiting for us over here. But we're going to walk the same path, we're going to walk the same journey, tell the same story, repeat the same patterns, be in the same place, if we continue to try to approach it with the same isms, addictive patterns, obsessions, impulses, corrupted thoughts, placing ourselves last, that have taken you, that has been a part of the journey thus far. And when you can finally say, okay, I don't know what this looks like, and I don't know how to get there, and I don't know exactly who I am. And if I tell myself I know, I'm going to be grabbing onto old information and old ways that I would have done things in the past, instead of allowing myself to be moved. And if I can let myself be moved by the moment, moved by the experience, there's going to be something that comes up in here. The fact that maybe I'm more supported than I would have ever thought. Maybe I was looking to the wrong person. So maybe you're looking to the wrong person, the wrong people to celebrate you, to support you, to be there. Maybe you're still looking for that partner to be that parent you never had, or that best friend you didn't have, or that expectation. Maybe there's such high expectations on everyone to finally see you or finally celebrate you. Well, that's your job. You are here to celebrate you. And when you take up the space and you keep company with yourself and not running away, not avoiding, not being too busy, right? I'm too busy. And every time you're too busy, your heart is full, your hands is full, your body is full. You don't have space to hold anything else. You have no space to be able to hold on to joy. Nothing can stay in. It's like a cup that is too full. And a cup that's too full and you just keep pouring in the good stuff, it pours back out the good and the bad. It just keeps pouring out. And so when they use the analogy of the dirty water and stir it up and you just keep pouring in, eventually the water gets clear. Yeah, eventually, right? Eventually it clears out. And so the moment that we stop adding more dirt in, instead of having to just keep putting everything in, is you got to put all clean water. It has to be all clear water. It has to be a clarity. And so this is about getting the clarity and gaining the clarity to what really truly matters and what matters the most and what is a priority. And so moving forward and writing that new book and getting to like a new book of your life, the new journey, the 2025, the energy that we have this week is an opportunity, even though it feels as if it is like it does have a slower pace to it, but we also have some good energy. We also have some powerful, forceful energy out there. But if you could shut it all down, just let it all go. No, doesn't matter. Don't matter what someone else's interpretation is. It doesn't matter what's there. If you could sit in the silence with yourself, what is your body telling you? What is your heart telling you? And where are you in your life? And where do you belong in your life? And what action steps can you take today to be a change in your story so that at the end, you're not already gone ahead, but you're present, you're in that moment. And so making it your mission this week to really look at how much pressure and pushing and resistance and challenges and all of those things that come up that are present in life, that are the things that can cause us to be caught up in the energy of being in, I guess, the collective shadow, in the collective shadow energy. Because remember, this is not all pure love energy that's floating around. There is a collective shadow energy. And the more the shadow gets invested, the more of the birds of the feathers that flocks together, right? It's more of the shadow energy that all comes together. The more that becomes what is talking. It is what you're absorbing. It's what you're becoming a part of. It becomes the sheep story. And so this is a collective shadow energy. It is imitation light. It is not real light. And it appears as real. And because it appears as real, we get consumed with it. You get stuck in it. You get caught in it. And when you can peel it all back and let it all go and stop it, say, what is the real truth? What is the real truth? And being radically honest with yourself about your role in your life, of your repeat patterns, of your continual go-to that constantly has an I know, but only just one time and only at this time of the year. And but, and as my mother says, put your hand in a bucket of water and take it out. Is there a hole? And no. And so that is such truth, because if I just remember, my positions in my life and places I've been where people say, oh my God, what are we ever going to do without you? We'll never survive without you. And it's like, oh, thank you, right? It's like, that's our ego. Our ego wants to hear that story. It wants it so bad. And then it's just like, you'll go on. You will find somebody new. There is a replacement to do some of those jobs. There's a replacement for those things, or people who love you will wait. People who really appreciate you will support you. People who value you, who you are and what you are, they will always be there. That is the company that we keep. And that is the place of where you find that when you take up space and when you don't play small and you're not on the back burner, they're the ones that are taking you by the hand and saying, you're coming to the front. You're getting in the front burner. Hey, I'm so freaking proud of you. I'm so glad to see what you're doing. Hey, I purchase everything that you do. All of that energy. So when you stop falling into the entrapment story of that imitation light, of the shadow's truth, and the shadow's truth is a truth. It's a truth in that moment, but it's not a truth in the big picture. It is simply a truth in this place. And so when we get small with ourselves, because the biggest part of us is actually the smallest part of us. The biggest part of us that's actually small is the existence of this human identity, this human self, this human world that we have created. But if we can turn it all down and turn it all off, what will we hear? And what will we see? And what will we feel? So this week is about taking the breath, breathing back before we're about to jump into action, and asking ourselves about the priority. and seeing where we are and what is priority. What is priority to your ability to be able to move forward, and looking at what moving forward really means. And so getting back into the repeat cycle is not actually moving forward. It's going around in a circle again. Do we want to go around the circle, or do we want to go forward? Do we want to take a new pathway? Do we want to take a new journey? Do we want to show up a little differently than we did before? That's your message. And I hope in some way that this inspires you this week and gives you some food for thought to also contemplate and to think about. Pull out your journal and just write that question down and ask yourself that question, and let the answer just come from somewhere inside of you. Instead of trying to force it, let it just come. Let it just flow through. Let there be versions of you that begin, pieces of you that begin to speak back to you. And you may hear things that may be a little hard to hear about, your own role in your own life. And other things may be something that really inspires you. I send you much love. Have a beautiful week. And if you want to spend some more time with me and my dear friend, colleague, soul sister, other half of More Than Existing, Lisa Richard, on December the 15th, on the Sunday night, we're going to be sharing the forecast energy for each and every zodiac sign through the Everyday Goddess Oracle cards, through the Want to Know a Secret, through all that we have been working on, and including the gateway, not sharing all the gateways, but sharing some of the work through human design and Gene Keys, and how that's going to be influencing and affecting 2025. And it's a beginning introduction also into something bigger that is on its way, that's going to be in the Academy. So you can purchase the tickets at mteacademy.ca if you want to join us. It's online. And it is interactive. So we're looking forward to seeing some of your faces joining us there. And so go to mteacademy.ca. Now, coming up in January is the level 1 of More Than Existing again, the whole mentoring program for More Than Existing, where you get to work with me for 6 months. So you can get an early sign-up bonus with a $500 discount if you sign up now. And the course begins in January. And I'm looking forward to teaching this again, starting over to another course of More Than Existing. So I look forward to seeing you. Thank you for being here. Have a beautiful week, and we will talk soon.